What up, Gamecock fans? That's right, it's your boy Rooster back. I'm back at home. Was supposed to be on a project in North Florida for about a year, 13 months, something like that. But hey, they hired a guy that lived closer to the project. Rooster gets to come home and go to work. Right now, I'm finishing up some work at a state park. Love it, man. Come roll in every morning. There's deer everywhere. We even got cats. Oh, different kind of cat. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about what Shane Beamer had to say in his most recent press conference. Some of the guys that kind of stood out as far as being team leaders. Matthew Fuller, presented as the best player of the summer or whatever, most improved player. We knew this kid had some talent. Surprised he's still at South Carolina. Running back room seems kind of full this year. It's positive for us. In past years, as y'all realize, we've had to kind of makeshift our running back room. So hopefully that's a plus for South Carolina this year. And these guys can really get a great running game, something that we've been missing for a while. And you know, it's not always the easiest thing to do in the SEC because you have these really fast defenses. Some of the greatest football there is, right? Big Ten will argue that the SEC's not as good, but I think from top to bottom, the SEC's better. I think right now the elite teams at the top, you can't argue the Big Ten's won the past few national championships, but they're spending money, and that's the name of the game. You know, there's been a lot of conversations about where this NIL thing's heading and how they're going to restrict it, and executive order signed by Donald Trump trying to say, hey, we need to fix this thing. How do you do it? How can you fix something? You can't tell someone, you can't limit someone on how much money they can make, but can you put it to where, okay, well, show us the value. If you're going to pay someone $8 million as a company, show us the value that they're bringing in that amount of money. You know, they add that value to your company, and that they're doing the work. You know, if you're being sponsored by someone, you should be doing commercials. You should be doing autograph sessions. I remember Dale Earnhardt, when he wanted to buy Sunday Money, his yacht, he signed autographs to make that money. Didn't use his paycheck and that type of stuff. But you know, it's kind of because I've been doing a lot of research into different things in affiliate programs and that type of stuff where you can sell stuff to make money. Here's the problem: it's a gimmick, because they're only going to give you a discount, and you're going to buy their merchandise, but yet you're going to sell their merchandise, but yet you're paying for their merchandise. So they're not really giving you. That's not a sponsorship. That's not a program where someone is sponsoring you. Usually a sponsor gives you the stuff, and then you promote it and you sell it. So same thing with NIL. These companies are these kids earning the money that they're being given, because as an affiliate or if you're a sponsored athlete, you really have to kind of earn that money. So how do you earn that money? Well, people say, well, these Olympic people get paid money or whatever to train and do all this stuff, and do they really promote the product that they're for the Olympics? To me, it's representing the United States a little bit different, and I think they do earn it when the Olympics come around. A lot of promotion for athletes. Not every athlete's a football player. Not every athlete's a basketball player. Not every athlete does that. You know, everybody loves everything. The funny thing is, during the Olympics, Winter Olympics, I watch a lot of curling, and people say, well, what the hell? Rooster, what are you doing watching curling? I think it's kind of cool. I don't know why I think it's cool. I know it's a northern thing, and I'm from the South, and we ain't curling shit down here, but probably 12-ounce, 16-ounce beers at a time, something like that, they curl. I ain't had a beer in a long time, so I can't really say that I've been curling beers. Mostly dumbbells and barbells. But yeah, it's just, how can South Carolina be this year? That's what we all want to know, right? Everyone asks the questions, what are the answers? And I don't think we have them yet. You know, a lot of talk about Kendall Briles and how well Lenore Sellers is doing in his type of offense. Simplifying means a lot, right? Sometimes it's the old keep it simple, stupid method. And I try to tell people that, the more complicated you make something, the more frustrating it is for people. Companies have a problem with this. They always want to constantly change processes and try to improve stuff. Sometimes the simplest way is the best way. Because if you're hiring new people and your system is too complicated and you can't train them and you can't explain to them how it works, they stay confused for a while. People say, well, they lack confidence. Well, they lack confidence because they don't understand. And you didn't train them really well to understand. And so management can be a problem. Just like coaching, if you're not really teaching the kids or you're making it too complicated for them, are you really helping them? Are you helping your program? I watch so many videos on like different working out, and it's just confusing, right? You watch all these different people to tell you all these different things, what type of peptides they use or proteins and all this other shit. And it just gets confusing and people are confused. You go to the gym, you're like, oh, shit, I'm confused. I always go back to the old method of the way that I learned to work out when I was a kid in high school. Because sometimes it's just, I see people do some of the craziest shit when they're working out to try to hit a muscle. And I'm sitting there thinking like, there's such an easier way to do what you're doing. Now, I don't walk up to people in the gym and say, hey, you're doing this all wrong. But I will get on here and tell Shane Beamer when he's doing it wrong as a head coach, which I don't know shit. I'm not a head coach. Man makes $6 million. He should be able to coach and win football games. But can South Carolina be much improved this year? How much improved? The playoff prediction thing by Shane Beamer, I think, is a little, wait and see now. I think that was a little premature because you didn't know who all you would lose to the transfer portal, who all you could get from the transfer portal when he made that statement. But I get it was an anger statement. Something we've all done, right? We've gotten angry and said, well, I'm going to do this. This is going to happen. Well, sometimes it takes a little longer. In our mind, we can make it happen overnight. We all know our mind and time don't always match together. I've watched many documentaries on the brain and the recognition of time, like trauma, right? If you had some type of trauma, the brain doesn't recognize that trauma happened 20 years ago. If something reminds you of that trauma, the brain kicks in and it feels like it was yesterday. And that's what PTSD is. When people go through that type of stuff, your brain doesn't recognize the time difference. It just really doesn't. It reacts. It gets defensive. So, did we react too early on the playoff thing? I think we did. I've heard a lot of stuff people out here talking about what's South Carolina's record going to be. I think it's still way too early to tell. I think it's too early to tell about a lot of these football teams, but everybody always wants to make early predictions on what these teams will be, and I don't think you really know that much till they get into spring ball, and they're not putting out secrets. They're not about to tell you. What coach in their right mind's about to come out and tell you their whole game plan? Some coaches are cocky and they'll come out and tell you, well, we're going to be really good. We're going to be dominant. Most coaches don't. Nick Saban was one of those coaches, didn't really tell you a whole lot, man. Just wait and see what we got. You had the talent on the team. People could kind of guess you're going to be good because you got a lot of talent. You got a lot of 5 stars, 4 stars, really great athletes on your team. Now with the transfer portal, it's kind of hard to tell because consistency in keeping your players from year to year is falling off. So is your team, look at Indiana, just won a national championship. Is Indiana going to win a national championship again? Don't know. Lost half their team, lost their quarterback. Can they rebuild it? You sit here and think, well, they did it in a short period of time. They did. But we've seen other teams build up, win national championship, and fall off. So hard to repeat, right? Ask Georgia. They went, look how hot Georgia was a couple years ago. Not really competed for the national championship. I mean, they won the SEC, but have they really been a national championship contender at the end of the day? No, I don't think so. Which is surprising, I guess. You'd say Clemson fell off. I mean, does anyone think Clemson's going to be a national title contender this year? I don't. Personally, their quarterback situation. Who knows, though? Maybe the kid comes out, blows it up, and is the best quarterback in the history of Clemson Tiger football. Maybe Lenore Sellers sets every record at South Carolina this year. Maybe. a lot of things maybe could happen, but we don't know exactly what's going to happen. If I could predict that, I promise you I would be retired at the end of this year, because I will gamble on every football game I win if I could predict everything that's going to happen in the future. But the experts will tell you they know. The experts will tell you they know. I don't think they know. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful, beautiful day. Rooster Man checking out. Got to get to work. Finish up the state park, so some nice people can come down here and park their camper, enjoy these deer I see every morning when I come into work. Such a beautiful day. So peaceful out here, man. It is really peaceful. But you guys, you'll find peace in your life too. Find that happy place. Holler at you later.